The smell of smoke woke me up. I opened my eyes and didn't at first understand what was going on. I ran out into the corridor and saw the fire. Mom and Dad weren't at home, but my sister Sandy was. I burst into her room and shook her by the shoulder. "Get up! The house is on fire!" Sandy rolled over. "Quit it with your stupid prank." There was a crackling sound behind the door, and the smell of smoke got even stronger. Sandy finally got up, and we ran out into the corridor. Everything around us was on fire. The worst thing was that the way to the stairs was cut off by flames. Damn it! How are we supposed to get out now? Hi, I'm Christy. At school, they call me the Queen. Usually that title went to a beauty or the captain of the cheerleading team. However, I was the Queen of Pranks. I had always been known for being a wild girl, but no one knew about my little secret. I pined for Matt. He was a rising football star. One day, I saw him at a game and immediately fell in love. After the game, I tried to introduce myself. "Grow up first." He patted me on the head condescendingly and left with his friends. It was so humiliating. I was only a couple of years younger than him. My feelings didn't go away with time, and I kept following him on social media. Now, let's get back to my Queen title. I was a real headache for the teachers because I was constantly coming up with new pranks. One day, I decided to prank a nerd called Charlie. He was a real mama's boy. Just imagine, he was constantly texting his mother. At recess, I sat down next to him and started flirting. "You're so smart. Please, tell me about your science project." At first, Charlie looked confused, but then he got excited and gave me a whole lecture about some sort of artificial fire. Blah, blah, blah. It was so boring. How interesting. Let's exchange phone numbers. Charlie was over the moon. Then my friend distracted him and I quickly picked up his phone. I opened his contacts and changed his mom's name to my own and vice versa. Charlie spent the day texting his mom and thinking it was me. Meanwhile, I got the messages he was sending his mom. I even read them to my friends. Just listen. "Mom, I had a good meal. I'm doing great. Love you." Everyone roared with laughter. We were having the time of our lives. And Charlie didn't understand what was going on. At the end of the day, his mother came to school. She looked as ridiculous as he did. "Son, why did you text me such strange things?" We laughed at both of them. Charlie and his mom went to the principal's office, and I was soon called there as well. I didn't want to listen to any lectures, so I just went home. I bumped into Sandy at the door. She was wearing an elegant dress and beautiful jewelry. "Where are you going?" "None of your business." "Christy, come here right now." It turned out that the principal had already called my parents and told them about my behavior. What a snitch. "You brought shame to us again. When will it end? This is unacceptable. Go to your room and read instead of messing around. And stay at home all evening? No thanks." I called my friends and decided to go out. I crept downstairs and was almost at the door when my mother noticed me. "No walks, you're grounded. It's too late anyway." "It's not fair. Sandy hasn't come back yet." "Unlike you, Sandy has never let us down. Besides, she's older than you." I got angry. She wasn't that much older, just by a year, but my parents stood firm. The next day, we were in for a surprise at school. The principal gathered everyone in the big hall. "There is going to be a new camp on the coast soon. The school will pay for a week for the best students to stay there. The rest of the students can go if they pay for themselves." Of course, I wasn't one of the best students. Sandy, however, was at the top of the list. Of course she was. At first, I wasn't all that upset. Then I found out something. I went to Matt's page as usual and saw a new post. He was going to that camp too. Now I had to get there no matter what. At home, I asked my parents for money. "No, you're grounded for bad behavior." "Look at Sandy. She studied well and now she's going there for free." I was upset, but then got an idea. I had to team up with Charlie. Everyone had always made fun of him, and after my prank, the teasing had only gotten worse. However, the teachers liked him. In the morning, I asked him aside to talk. "I have an offer for you. You will take the test for me, write my name on the science project, and put in a good word for me with the principal. In exchange, I'll start hanging out with you and make sure you won't be bullied anymore." Charlie hesitated, but I managed to convince him. I tried to behave myself for the rest of the time before the camp and fulfilled my promise. I taught Charlie how to stand up for himself. The only thing that infuriated me was his habit of texting his mother all the time. One day I came home and heard Sandy talking to our parents. "A guy should be getting here soon. We're dating, and I want to introduce him to you." Did Sandy have a boyfriend? Wow, she must have been dressing up for dates lately. When I walked into the room, Sandy gave me an annoyed look. Just don't make any stupid jokes. You're worse than a child. Her condescending tone infuriated me. We started to argue, but then the doorbell rang. Sandy ran to the door and I went up to my room. She thought I was acting like a child, huh? Well, she asked for it. I put on a ridiculous dress, made 2 ponytails, took a teddy bear, and came back to the living room. It was time for an unforgettable show, but things didn't go according to plan. When I saw Sandy's boyfriend, I couldn't believe my eyes. It was Matt! Oh, I remember you. You're that persistent girl I met at a game a year ago. Don't mind her. Christy is an eternal child. I felt so embarrassed I wanted to sink through the floor. I realized how stupid I looked and rushed back to my room, changed my clothes, and made myself presentable. I had to look perfect, and that took a lot of time. I was looking forward to Matt's reaction, but when I came downstairs again, he was already gone. What a bummer. It was so unfair. Why had Sandy, who was such a bore, got herself such a cool boyfriend? Still, thanks to Charlie, I got into the camp. My parents were surprised that I'd finally taken up my studies and let me go. We were given rooms in cool bungalows by the ocean, but I had no time to admire the view. I was going to get Matt to notice me. To do that, I came up with various pranks and tried to make Sandy look bad. One day, my sister walked into the beach locker room and hung her clothes there. I sneaked up, took her clothes, and left a stupid costume instead. She had no choice but to put it on. Everyone died laughing at her. Matt walked by. I mentally rubbed my hands. Now, he would laugh too. Sandy, what a cool costume. You look so cute in it. Excuse you? I gritted my teeth with anger. Soon, I came up with a new prank. I bought a rubber snake in a gift shop and tied it to a fishing line. When Sandy was sunbathing, I threw the snake at her and pulled. Sandy screamed and jumped to her feet. Help! Help! It's a snake! When everyone realized that it was just a toy, they started laughing at my sister again. But Matt was there for her. It's not funny. Anyone would have been scared in Sandy's place. It became clear that such tricks wouldn't work. I decided to try something else and asked Matt aside. Are you and Sandy serious? I'm just worried. Don't be. I'll never hurt your sister. Actually, I'm worried about you. Sandy has a new boyfriend every week. That's weird. It doesn't seem like her. Just be careful. I tried to get to know Matt during the next few days. Sandy kept inviting him to go surfing or play beach volleyball. A lot of guys looked at me. I flirted with everyone to prove to Matt that I was already a grown-up. I tried so hard, but he only saw me as a friend. Meanwhile, I got an obsessive fan. His name was Tom. He also enjoyed pranks and was up for anything. One evening, everyone gathered around the campfire and took turns telling horror stories. Did you know that savages used to live in these lands? They like to roast and eat people. Rumor has it their descendants still live here and attack the campers. His story gave me an idea for a prank. I would definitely be noticed after that. The next day, I came to Charlie's bungalow. That nerd was working on his project even though we were in a camp. I remembered that he knew how to imitate fire using various reagents. The flame was supposed to look real, but not burn. I came up with a cool idea for a prank. I'll hang over the campfire, but the flames won't be real. No one knows about your project, so everyone will definitely be shocked. Sorry, but no. I'm not done yet, and it could be dangerous. His refusal irritated me. After Charlie left, I snuck into the bungalow and looked at the info on his laptop. Then I took what I needed and quickly left. I prepared firewood nearby and started a fire. I thought that I would definitely mess up somehow, but it worked. I asked Tom and another guy who liked me for help. Tie me to a stick and hang me over the fire. The second guy hesitated, but Tom managed to convince him. They did as I asked and called the others. When everyone came running to the beach, I screamed loudly, "Help! I've been tied up by savages!" Sandy, Matt, and a couple other students immediately rushed to me. As soon as they got closer, I laughed. Did you buy it? You've been pranked. Sandy was furious. You've gone too far. You can't joke about that. She was such a bore after all. What kind of fire is this? My science project. Cool, right? Then the boys came up to me and tried to untie me. One of them accidentally touched the flame and something went wrong. The fire suddenly started to hiss. Charlie's voice rang out from the crowd. Be careful! Everyone, get back! Before the boys could finish untying me, they had to jump aside. There was a flash and part of the reagent got on my hand. Someone called a doctor that was on duty at the beach. While my burn was being treated, I snapped at Charlie. "It's all you and your idiotic project's fault. I told you it wasn't ready yet." "So I'm the one to blame? You know what? I won't help you anymore. You're such a wimp and a mama's boy." Charlie took offense and left. The burn was mild. They bandaged my arm and allowed me to stay in the camp. How could you even think doing such a thing was okay? You could have been seriously injured. What would I have told Mom and Dad? Sandy started telling me off right in front of Matt. It was so damn humiliating. Quit pretending to be a perfect older sister. I went to my bungalow and then Tom caught up to me. "That prank was awesome. Let's do it again." I wanted to send him to hell, but suddenly got a better idea. "Why don't you hit on my sister? She's pretending to be a perfect girlfriend. I want you to seduce her." I'd always known Tom was ready to do anything for fun. He immediately agreed. We came up with a plan. I said I would take care of Matt. One day, I was walking along the shore with him. "I hate to break it to you, but my sister doesn't love you. She flirts with all the guys on the beach." He was about to say something when he noticed Sandy. Tom was giving her ice cream. The next time, we saw them playing volleyball. Sandy received the ball poorly and almost fell, but Tom helped her. "Hey, get your hands off of her." "Matt, what are you doing? He was just helping me." "And you liked it, didn't you?" I was over the moon. My plan was working. On the last day of camp, we moved on to the final part. I brought Matt to Sandy's bungalow. She was sitting on the front steps. Tom leaned in and suddenly kissed her. Matt clenched his fists. "I thought you were better than this." He turned to leave. Sandy ran after him. "Wait, this is a misunderstanding." He didn't listen to her. At that moment, a bus pulled up to the beach, and we left the camp. Sandy was devastated and stayed at home. Mom and Dad found out about my fire prank and got angry. At school, everyone was laughing at Charlie again. I was the only one who was happy because Matt kept texting me. One day, he invited me for a walk. We had a great time. He talked more and more by the day and eventually started dating. I couldn't be happier. Things were looking up, but soon I noticed that Matt was often lost in thought and sad. One day, we came to a cafe. As I was approaching our table, I noticed he was looking at Sandy's page. Matt quickly hid the phone. Was he really still pining for my boring sister? Things only got worse after that. Instead of spending time with me, Matt was constantly playing football. It turned out that we had no common interests. Soon, my joy vanished. I wasn't sure I wanted to date him anymore. One day, I went to a hospital to have my burn examined. It had almost healed by then. On the way back, I accidentally turned into the wrong hallway and found myself in another department, where I ran into Charlie. A doctor was talking to his mother nearby. "What are you doing here?" He didn't want to answer, but he wouldn't get rid of me that easily. "My mom is sick. She gets distracted and forgets things. She often calls me and talks to me like I'm still a kid. I don't want to upset her, so I play along." I was shocked and suddenly realized how horrible I had been to Charlie. I hadn't known about his mom, but no one at school did. I remembered Charlie helping me with my studies and telling me about his project. To be honest, spending time with him had always been interesting. I'm sorry for that stupid prank, and for everything else. I get carried away sometimes. Charlie smiled. "It's okay. Don't worry about it." That evening, Mom and Dad went to some sort of event. "We'll be back late. Don't wait up." Sandy and I were left alone. She went to bed early, and I didn't stay up too long either. The smell of smoke woke me up. I opened my eyes and didn't at first understand what was going on. I ran out into the corridor and saw fire. I burst into Sandy's room and shook her by the shoulder. "Get up! The house is on fire!" Sandy rolled over. "Quit it with your stupid pranks." There was a crackling sound behind the door, and the smell of smoke got even stronger. Sandy finally got up, and we ran out into the corridor. We couldn't even get to the stairs because of the fire. Damn it! It was all my fault. If I hadn't pranked everyone so often, Sandy would have believed me, and we wouldn't have wasted time. God, what do we do now? I quickly came up with an idea. I grabbed Sandy's hand, dragged her to my room, opened the window, and made her get out. There was a fire escape by the window. Sandy was terrified of heights, but I helped her, and then she got down herself. We called the fire department and our parents. The fire was quickly extinguished. Soon, our terrified parents arrived as well. "Christy, it's probably your fault again! You almost got yourself and your sister killed!" "Actually, she saved me. I wouldn't have gotten out on my own." "The fire was caused by faulty wiring. You should check it more often." My parents looked at each other in shock and then hugged my sister and me. "Christy, I'm sorry." "You're a real hero." A little later, I told Sandy I had done everything I could so that Matt would break up with her. I figured it out a long time ago. I'm sorry. I was so selfish. The next day, I met with Matt and told him everything. At first, he didn't believe me, so I called Tom and he confirmed my words. Matt and Sandy started dating again. My sister forgave me and our relationship improved. I helped Charlie at school. Thanks to my efforts, he started dressing well and wearing contacts instead of glasses. A lot of girls saw him on the beach and noticed that he had a great figure. I convinced everyone that it was cool he was talking to his mom so often. He's a very caring son. Soon, I took up my studies. Charlie and I worked on the project together and soon started dating. Now, we go on double dates with Matt and Sandy. I pined for one guy, but found happiness with another one. Have you ever been in a similar situation? Tell us in the comments down below.